Hey there, Dragon Folk. How are we all doing today? Hopefully, we're doing great. I'd love to see every single one of you. So today we're gonna kind of tussle over some stuff here, right? Um, Technically, I am doing this as of yesterday, right? So, uh, I'm making it so today's yesterday is yesterday's whatever I mean to say. Anyway, I am doing this on the 25th of July. So you'll probably be watching this on the 26th or maybe sometime further. But today we are going to be talking about the singles market for Double Masters 2022. So, as expected, as these boxes are continued to be ripped open and taken apart piece by piece on a regular basis, well, the cards are dropping still. Not all of them. A good portion of them are still dropping. And honestly, a lot of them, their borderless versions, are taking small hits, little hits here and there. So, since last week at this point, we're looking at some Double Masters cards, right? We're kind of just going to go over some stuff and see what it is. As far as anything that has changed recently, we're going to go into that right now. Okay, here we are. So, we're looking at some cards, right? As far as things go, you don't want to go regular foil. You just want kind of market foil. We can look at some stuff there. So let's look at the regular market prices for this stuff right now. So you'll see that since yesterday, right, as of the 24th or whatever, Imperial Seal, the base version, has actually gone down $10 since it's since $134, and the Ren and 6 Borderless is also going down in price. Again, you're going to see a lot of these change in price as more and more are opened. Now, these aren't the foil versions, so these cards are going to be a little bit, skewed in regards to their want and their desire. But these are still very powerful things to note. I mean, a Ren and 6 Borderless for $78 on the market, you can probably snag that for somewhere around 70, depending on where you shop. So I wouldn't say that's too bad. But of course, right, with these things still dropping, right, we still have a lot of cards that are still, well affordable, and frankly, should be picked up, if not now, probably within the next few days. We're talking more specifically about, obviously, we can go over all this other Commander stuff later, but I mean, our big thing is talking about Double Masters, right? So a couple cards did get a big hit here, right? These Double Masters cards are not the Double Masters cards. We're talking about Double Masters 2022. So, Monastery Mentor got an increase in price. Not sure whether or not that's due to a desire to have it, or whether or not it's just a specific card that is hard to find. But Monastery Mentor has in fact gotten a small 11% increase, which in all theory is not a whole ton. It's still obviously under $15, which is still a good pickup. It's a 2 generic and a white for a 2/2 creature with prowess, and when you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white monk creature token with prowess. So obviously, if you're doing a red-white prowess deck, you know what I bet this deck? I bet this came up so people could play Boros spells with the Jaya card, the Jaya Planeswalker that was just released. I imagine prowess is going to be a big deal sometime soon, but so that's a neat thing. Dockside Extortionist obviously is still rising in price. We'll check out the foil etched version one too, but I would imagine obviously it's a great card and necessary in just about any red deck. The card's going to go up in price no matter what. It's going to at least go up in price, and it's going to probably equal out to its previous counterpart. Obviously, with the borderless arts and the foil etched is actually the hardest one to find from what I can tell as far as research goes. So the foil etched one is actually going to be more difficult to find, which is why it's going for a more premium price. We'll check that out in a bit here. Other than those two cards, Monastery Mentor and Dockside Extortionist, every single one of these cards that we're going to go over have gone down in price since last week. So, Ulamog, Crucible of Worlds, right? Seasoned Pyromancer, just the regular one. Emrakul. We're all these base level ones I expected to go down a lot because they are just general basic ones. You open these ones in the draft booster boxes, and normally people are looking for the hot stuff, right? They're looking for this. They're looking for these borderless ones. So even as far as the borderless ones, we're looking at price drops. Not super significant, but they are dropping still. This Allosaurus Shepard in Borderless is at $40.51, which I believe is slightly above its counterpart that was in Jumpstart. I'm sure the foil etched version is going for a bit more because the foil etched cards tend to be harder to find, but even if you wanted to pick yourself up a borderless non-foil version of it for $40, not too bad a call there. These are all market prices also, by the way, so they very well could be less because obviously prices are still continuing to drop. So we're going to keep our eyes on these as we go. Emrakul, right? Crucible of Worlds, Borderless. Concordant Crossroads also getting hit for a little bit there. We're going to look at some really, really big drops, though, right? Dragonlord Jermoka got a pretty big drop of 10% from $14 to $12. So that's a pretty good pickup. If you don't like the foiling of cards because of curling, and you like the full borderless Dragonlord Jermoka Richard Kane Ferguson art. Pretty cool. Of course, we have other things that hit a pretty high percentage down, right? We got 10% down for Vidalcan Ori in Borderless, 10% down for Renin 6 Borderless, as we talked about earlier. We do have Dockside Extortion is actually going down in price for its base Borderless version, $63 for this Dockside Extortionist. So compare that to its original up here. Compare that to its original up here. This one is $62, whereas this one is $63. So for a whopping $1 more, you can get a borderless version of Dockside Extortionist. So it's pretty good. I would like to think that the Dockside Extortionist stuff, at least the base art and the borderless non-foil, are probably going to equal out to be roughly the same, just due to availability. And then the foil versions, and more specifically, again, that foil etched version is going to be more sought after. So, of course, Cavern of Souls also getting another drop down to 73 after being at 82 last week. Not too bad. 73 is still less, I think, than, I don't know. So if we look over here at the Cavern of Souls on TCGPlayer, it looks like the Zendikar Rising Expedition version is actually going for more than the borderless version of the card itself, probably just due to sheer availability. And then everything else after that, right? We've got the one from the list being at its lowest pricing. We have the one from the base version from Double Masters 2022 going for $61. And then, of course, the foil etched, which, of course, we were probably going to get to, is the second highest costing one because the foil etched cards are worth the money. Honestly, if you're going to pick up any cards from this and you're looking to really get the better version of the card from any of these, right, you should go with the foil etched versions. You just should, because the foil etched versions are not only rarer to find because there's only one slot to get a foil etched card ever in the entirety of the set, but they also are cool, right? I'd take that Damnation art for foil etched over the full art any day of the week. So, of course, we're going to go deeper into this, right? So, still at a lower percentile. Teferi's Protection went down a little bit. We also have Seasoned Pyromancer at 12%, almost 13% loss. Consecrated Sphinx going down. We have City of Brass going down. Let's just, tie up everything, right? Damnation, right? This one has gone down a bit in price, under $20 now for this Damnation. Mana Vault even coming in at a almost $75 price point after a 15% drop. That's it's kind of hefty for a borderless Mana Vault. But I imagine, again, like I said, they're going to go down a little bit more because they are just more accessible with that borderless slot. The borderless cards are going to continue to go down just because you get, in a collector pack, you get 6 borderless cards. 4 of them commons and uncommons, and 2 of them rares or mythics. So 6 borderless cards in a pack of 15. That's a lot. So those are definitely going to be going down, especially since people are cracking the collector's packs more, because you get, 1, the chance of a foil etched, which is really, really great. A foil etched Imperial Seal, I think, is the most expensive card currently, other than the textured foils. But then you also get the chance of the textured foils. So it's a win-win kind of deal there. A lot of these cards, again, getting hit pretty crazy. Supreme Verdict, not sure how much play this card gets, but at $7, not too bad. We do also Force of Negation, going down to about $50 for its borderless version. $50 for Force of Negation. It's kind of an interesting concept. I'd be curious to see how much further that goes down, but I'd imagine it's probably not going to get anywhere below 40, just because it's a pretty useful card. Smothering Tithe also $41. So Smothering Tithe about $41 here for a borderless version of itself, which lets me believe that you could very well sell your Smothering Tithe, get about $30 back, spend an extra $10, and get a borderless Smothering Tithe. And that looks much cooler and is definitely more sought after. So I'd say that Smothering Tithe is worth it. So definitely a good call there. Smothering Tithe is, of course, it's a fantastic card in white. You pretty much have to play it. It's just, it gets you such value in Commander. Imperial Seal seeing a huge drop in its borderless, 16.58%, going from $202 to $169 for the borderless version. That is quite the drop of almost $30. So hard to pass that up as far as this goes, but definitely an easy choice to pick up, right? Let's kind of move on to a lot of the other stuff. I think a lot of these just don't have a lot of love. Liliana the Last Hope borderless, obviously not touching anything. Not very many people were happy with the Liliana choice for the set. Sensei's Divining Top even getting a $10 reduction in price for a Divining Top. Pretty insane. But then you have things like this, right? You have things like all of the like Aether Vial, right? These things are also going down pretty heavy. Chaos Warp, nobody really apparently liked the art for this card, and they're willing to just pay $6 for it. All right, so now looking at the foil market prices, right, for these things. Generally, we're going to kind of go over this, and we're going to show you what is kind of ranging in percentages for the foils. Some foils you might want to pick up. Some foils you might not want to. I know a lot of people who do not have very much faith in foiling right now. So having that happen is, obviously we got to take it as it is. Looks like the only card that's had a major change as of recently is Muldrotha, the Gravetide, in its borderless foil version. Looks like is going for a whopping 5% less than it was last time. So still right around that sub 30 mark, which is a great deal for all those people who play Muldrotha, because I know it's a pretty common commander, if I recall correctly. So Muldrotha is nice to go around. You get Graveyard Recursion, so on and so forth. So obviously, hope your opponent doesn't play farewell. That's all I got to say about that. So moving on to the market foils for the rest of Double Masters 2022 in the past week. So the past week, Shadowbone Apostle has actually gone up in price, but I believe has gone back down again. I want to say this is for the foil. Yeah, this is for the foil version of this card. Obviously harder to find other than in, collector packs. So collector packs are definitely going to be the bigger hit here, but still, Shadowburn Apostle, right? Obviously, this card, you can use as many of this card as you can in a deck, so it is very much so going to stay at a pretty stagnant price, especially for foils. It's going to kind of hit like with Relentless Rats and Rat Colony. Cards like that tend to stay at a stagnant right around like $2-3 for their regular versions. And then, obviously, a little bit more for the foils, because you can have as many as you want. The Allosaurus Shepard, the regular Allosaurus Shepard, in foil, looks like it's gone up about 14%. So pretty interesting to see a bump in price for the foil Allosaurus Shepard. I guess you couldn't really get a foil Allosaurus Shepard in the previous, in Jumpstart, so you're probably not seeing that anywhere else. But to see it jump in price, at least we know Allosaurus Shepard's getting some love. Sensei's Divining Top in foil, also getting another 33, a little bump up to $33. Now, Kozalek, you'll see Kozalek has gone up in price a little bit. Kozalek is nearing almost the $300 mark for the textured foil version of itself. So I think that's where those textured foils are gonna stagnate, somewhere on the $300 mark per card. Because right around that, it's like at that point you can just buy one textured foil instead of buying a box, and then you can just have all the textured foils. You know what I mean? Force of Negation foil also is going for a bit now. Definitely went up in price here. Seems to be right around the same price as its Borderless counterpart in non-foil. So obviously the art having not changed for the regular version of it is a big deal. Obviously, I think the foil etched version is probably going to go a little bit better, but we'll see. So it's Fear's Protection now going down, right? Monastery Mentor in foil going down, which is so weird, right? It's right around the same price as its normal version. It's just foil. So there's that. Green Sun Zenith also taking a little bit of a hit. Warrior's Oath, Animar, Soul of Elements, interesting card to see go down in price. I thought it was a pretty popular card to play as far as elementals go, but I think everybody is more hyped about the, again, foil etched version of this card, if I recall correctly, so going to be hard to beat that. Emrakul and Nicobolas also going down in price. Conqueror's Flail, Child of Alara, Dragonlord Silumgar, is down 31%, and then our lowest hitter is Wasatora Nekoro Queen, down 40%. This is a cat dragon that is going for $3 right now. Not a bad dragon either. It's a great way to start those cat decks for anybody who wants to do cute little cat decks. But yeah, it's not too bad. Easy pickup, right? You get a cat dragon out of it. I don't see why you wouldn't do that. Probably could spend that $3 somewhere else a little bit better. All right, well, now we're moving on to the foil etched and the borderless stuff, the foil borderless stuff. So now, of course, we're looking at this stuff. So Bring to Light. A lot of these foil etched cards are probably going to go up in price significantly, right? Bring to Light, which doesn't really sell for a whole lot, has gone up almost 75%. Why that is, I have no idea, but Bring to Light seems to get hit with a foil etch there. Foil etched Force of Negation also going up to $80. Like I said, you're going to see these foil etched cards go up in price a lot simply because they are harder to find. There's only one slot you can find them in ever. That's it. You can't find them in draft. You can't find them in another slot in the collector's pack. There's only one slot, therefore it makes them more accessible. Mana Drain in the foil etched going up almost $10. Liliana the Last Hope foil etched going up almost, it's what, $5 almost? The Phyrexian Altar foil etched going up 11%. Aminato, the Fate Shifter, also going up 9%. Cavern of Souls again hit that $103 mark up there. Mana Vault also hitting that $134 mark. And then the Smothering Tithe, the foil etched one, is now going for $42. So this foil etched version of this is going for almost the same amount as the borderless version of itself. I think everybody's come to a consensus that the borderless version is the better looking version of the card. So I'm sure we will see a bump in price for that here. Damnation in its foil actually going down in price. We're going to get down to the lower stuff here. So Smothering Tithe borderless and its foil, yeah, right there, $76. It did go down in price, but it is sub $80 for a foil Smothering Tithe in its full art. So not a bad pickup if you just need one. Not bad at all. The Allosaurus Shepard and foil etched also going for a whopping $64. Force of Negation Staying right where it is, Muldrotha, again, we talked about that one earlier. A lot of the big hits. Let's see what else we got over here. What else is going down? Thrumming Stone is down to 1629. Thrumming Stone's a great card for Tribal. So if you're looking for a very rare version of that card for Tribal, this is a great time to pick that up at 1629. Not too bad if you just need one. What else is going down here, right? We've got things like, the Borderless Mana Drain in foil. Looks like has gone down from $97 to $85. A $12 reduction in the Mana Drain here. And I don't know whether or not that's just not a love for the art. Maybe there's just too many of them, but they seem to be going down in price. Let's see. What else do we have going on here? The foil Borderless Allosaurus Shepard is also going down, right? Down to about $58. So obviously it's other art counterparts are going for a little bit more. The foil etch going for more than this, but it is not too bad. Now this is crazy. A Hydroid Crassus in foil etched is only $7. That's kind of insane. I don't know. Maybe there's not too many people playing Hydroid Crassus anymore, but back when, what was that? Ravnica Allegiance, I want to say. This card was kind of crazy. It was going for almost like $15. So to see a foil etched version of it going for $7, not a bad pickup if you play Simic. Then, of course, we have Seasoned Pyromancer and its Borderless foil, right? That's gone down almost 15%. So if you like seeing this card with giant flaming tigers on it, and you play Seasoned Pyromancer, not a bad pickup for $50. But, of course, right, keep your eye on it. It'll keep going down. Then Mana Vault has gone down almost 15% from $164 to $139, so about $24 in a price drop. I'm sure that'll bounce back at some point because obviously foil Borderless Mana Vault just seems to be doing its thing, but we'll definitely see how that goes. What's some other big hits here, right? Panharmonicon in the Borderless version, foil Borderless, has gone down to $10. I thought this card was always worth more than $10, but apparently the foil Borderless version of it is worth $10. So that's a fun little thing. A big hit here for Imperial Seal Borderless in its foil version, down 18.7%, down to almost $200. That's a $50 drop in market value for this card. So hopefully those of you who sold it real quick, because that dropped pretty heavy. Obviously, again, the foil etched version is going to be the more expensive one. So I think people are realizing that and maybe selling these for a little bit more, or a little bit less, I should say, in order to get that one there. Renin 6 also going down in price, about $30. So that's pretty crazy. You'll see that, like, again, a lot of these are going down pretty heavily. You've got Marchesa, who's gone down in price pretty crazy. What else is this? Sensei's Divining Top. Again, a foil Borderless Sensei's Divining Top for $62. Trade in. The best thing you can do in regards to these cards is you can trade in your old versions, sell them, right? Or something, and then you can use that money to buy a new version of it. So that way you never really lost out on anything. Yeah. A lot of these cards just kind of very much so down in price. Marchesa hitting that 35% drop there is pretty insane. But it looks like a lot of the rares and the mythics are kind of the only ones being affected as of right now as far as price drops go. But I wanted to go over some of the uncommons with you guys and check those out. So let's talk Lightning Bolt. How about we do that? So Lightning Bolt has gone down a little bit, but it's still under $3 for you to own a, or under $2, I guess, theoretically, other than shipping. You can go ahead and get a Borderless Lightning Bolt, which is pretty cool for those of you who play red. Honestly, the cooler your Lightning Bolt is, the cooler you are. So if you can't afford those tournament ones that are like textless and whatever, these will do pretty well. Of course, then we have to talk about the bounce lands. So the bounce lands, again, crazy crazy thing. These are great substitutes for those of you who do not have a great budget. If your budget is low, bounce lands are probably in just about every single one of your pre-con decks, and they're cheap to find. More importantly, though, these are also under $2 for a borderless version of itself, and it looks like they're going for about $4 in foil. So if you really wanted to, you could pay about anywhere between $3 to $4 for a foil version of it, and you only need one for Commander. So they're just good. I think the arts are great. A lot of these borderless arts for these uncommons and commons are going to be very, very, maybe not sought after, but they'll have their use in a lot of budget decks. And I know when getting people excited and you get them into your cube, and the cube is got a whole bunch of cards in it, and you see these borderless cards, right? You're going to be like, whoa, I want to play something around that, right? This is stuff like this, right? Blood Artist has its place in rat decks, if I recall correctly. So this is a fantastic pickup for a foil Blood Artist and borderless for $30. Art's very creepy, but it's Blood Artist. Of course, you have the Mole Drifter too. Mole Drifter is again a pretty. It's not exactly a staple card, but it can be used in many decks and does have its purpose as far as blinking and so on and so forth. Or flickering, sorry. Kind of getting itself going through there. But I don't know. The foil, obviously, it's just another card to pick up, right? I mean, you can pay less than $3 for a foil version of it. It's not bad. You have, of course, more of these, right? These lands just keep going down, right? They keep going down. And frankly, I would like to pick up all of them because they're just good. Maybe not the best lands, but they're good in regards to deck building, and I like that. So I love the art, right? The art for all these cards is super great. I love the, I don't think it's too slow of a land. I love everything about it. Just the fact they're borderless, right? Very, very good. So rampant growth in borderless is also a pretty interesting thing. It's run in like every green deck, rampant growth, and you can get one in a borderless art foil for under $2. Right? Foil, near mint, under $2. You can get that. So definitely a crazy, crazy time for this. Like I said, I'm going to keep it short and sweet, essentially. But even though we're 30 minutes in and it's no longer short, and hopefully it's still sweet. But this is essentially what I'm talking about, right? Like, doing this is important because you have to look over the prices of the sets as they come, right? So it looks like for the most part, for most of the cards that we are seeing, we are still seeing a downtick in prices. And so because we're still seeing a downtick in prices, there's probably not, I'm saying probably the end of the month, right? The closer and closer we get to Dominaria United, the more these cards are going to, they're going to drop. I would say maybe if not at the end of the month, probably at least halfway into August. Then after that, things will probably settle, right? We'll figure out whether or not Double Masters 2022 is all dried up, and then the path will be moved forward to Dominaria United for everybody to do the same thing all over again when we all try to pull Legends cards from collector boxes. So we'll see how that goes. But thank you guys for going over this with me. I know it's a bit of a longer video, but I kind of wanted to double check on everything to show you guys what's going up, what's going down. You guys can obviously pause the video as you look at prices and make a decision for yourself. But MTG Stocks is the website I used for that, so I'll leave that in the comments down below so that way you guys can all check that out. And yeah, hopefully you guys are just keeping your eyes on the market, right? If you guys are selling your cards, hopefully you've sold them already, because they're just going to continue to go down unless they're foil etched cards. Those probably have the best chance of going up in price because they're foil etched. that's my status on this. The foil etched cards are probably going to go up a little bit more, even if they're bulk stuff. You have a good chance of them doing pretty well. But as far as the borderless stuff go, a lot of those uncommon borderless cards are really just getting their butt kicked, and they're tanking in price significantly. So if you're looking to pick up uncommons and commons from this set, I'd say start doing it. It's such a good time to do it. I mean, foil borderless rampant growths for under $2. You can't beat that. If you play green, you already know you're playing rampant growth, so that's just a thing. But anyway, that's enough for me. Thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate your support. Let me know in the comments down below what cards you're excited to see go up, what cards you're excited to see go down, what you might be picking up later in the market on your way in. So while you're down there, also make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. I like to make this content for everybody, so that way we all kind of stay on top of things and we all know a little bit more about the market than we did before. So hopefully this brought some insight into some stuff, and hopefully I gave you a good resource to look into at MTG Stocks, where you can find out a lot about the trending prices of Magic cards. So thank you again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Remember to make it a great day or not. The choice is up to you. And I'll see you all in our next video. Nerd out.